Welcome to Ashes and Roses, the podcast.
A millennial review of entrepreneurship.
We're your hosts. I'm Junie.
And I'm Ashley. We'll be sharing with you an honest review of our trials and triumphs in business.
The Ashes and the Roses.
On season 2, we'll be inviting other entrepreneurs to share their journey as well.
Join us every Wednesday on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts.
And as always, we'll be keeping it real,
raw, and revolutionary. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Ashes and Roses. It is season 2, and we're so excited to be here. As you, if you don't know, season 2, the theme is Fight Big Industry, Challenge Big Industry. So this season, we're highlighting different industries, various industries that we have, not only us, but some guest co-hosts this season, y'all.
Our first co-host is here today.
So we will be just different entrepreneurs who are in our network, who are in our circle. We'll be having them on to the show this season to talk about their industries and some of the inequalities that they see on their end and what they're doing as an entrepreneur to change and, you know,
to switch it up. Yeah. Be the solution, because that's what we are doing here as entrepreneurs. We're excited to get a different perspective in the room.
Yes, I'm excited. You want to introduce them?
Well,
You want to introduce the guest person, or should I do it, or should you do it? I think you should do it.
Well, first, let's introduce our sponsor for today's episode.
Yes, we got to make the money. I forgot. Thank you. This is why you need. Remember, season 1, episode 1. This is why you need a business partner.
Okay.
Okay. And if you don't know, you need to go ahead and go back to season 1 so you can catch up to where we're at today, because we all know each other here. We family now.
Yep.
Okay, so this episode is sponsored by Sapphire Health and Wellness. Sapphire Health and Wellness is a company geared towards providing quality senior care, and they do so by having memory care homes known as Sapphire Houses, where they provide alternative living and care options for senior adults affected by Alzheimer's and dementia. So these Sapphire Houses, or memory care homes, they offer home-cooked meals, 1-to-5 resident ratios, intimate home settings, and they allow for each individual to grow or age in place. And with one house at a time, Sapphire Health and Wellness is carrying out its vision of creating a new standard for senior care. Check them out on sapphirehousing.com to schedule a virtual tour.
Yes, thank you. So now I will go ahead and introduce our amazing guest host today, guys. I'm just going to read off her bio real quick. So today's guest host, she started off her entrepreneurial journey in the 3rd grade. Okay, she was buying and flipping candy as her first little side hustle. She went on to graduate high school early at the age of 16. By the time she was 19, she started her first business, Ori Seven Apparel. This was all while she was pursuing a degree in computer science. After making all of her connections, she created a position for herself at a Columbus nonprofit organization that teaches students computer science. In addition to, being a boss, she travels. She's about to get married soon.
Okay.
She's an editor-in-chief of Ori.
The Oracle.
The Oracle, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So she's awesome. She does it all. She's also happens to be my little sister, Kat Theodore, soon to be Miss McCarthy. Welcome to Ashes and Roses.
Welcome, Kat.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're excited to have you here. And what's to top it all off, the reason why you're just the perfect guest host for today's episode, #Unemployed, is because I know you recently have a different relationship with the word unemployed, which I'll let you get into once we start our conversation. But we're excited to have you, and we're excited to have this conversation with you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here as a listener of Ashes and Roses. So I'm super excited to start off season 2 with you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exciting.
So we always start off our podcast with the thought of the day. Mm-hmm. So, do you have a thought of the day that you would like to share?
I think y'all should go first.
Really? Okay. All right, sure. I don't mind. Junie, what is your thought of the day?
Okay, so my thought of the day or week or month is really just trying to figure out, like, as an entrepreneur, and also as a person, lately I've been trying to figure out, like, what is my passion? What am I passionate about? What is the thing that will make me happy forever? So it's interesting because it's hard for me to find one thing and just stay with it forever. I always want to learn new things. I always want to, like, try something else. And I feel like I'm a like multi-talented person. So I feel like I can do pretty much almost anything. And I kind of want to try to do everything, but I don't know how well that works out in real life. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense for like, I've literally thought maybe I should just, because my lease is ending. I'm like, maybe I should just go backpacking across the world for a year. That's the first time I said that out loud. You see her face.
Wow.
But then I'm like, maybe I should buy a house. It's just like, there's so many things that it's hard to figure out what's going to make me the happiest.
That is so
long term.
That's so real, but I'm going to need you to not go backpacking, though. Seriously. No, but, like, I mean, you're asking, is it reasonable to try to be Superwoman?
You think that's me being Superwoman?
I mean, that's a complex that we do have, though, right? I mean, let's be real. Absolutely. As Black women, like, we tend to want to be Superwoman, so we think we can do everything. But I mean, we've been proving ourselves to be right. We can, but I don't know if it's gonna benefit our mental health to do that.
Right.
You're right. Yeah, and I also wonder, is that just me wanting to escape?
I think everyone wants to escape right now.
Yeah.
So that's totally natural. Everyone wants to escape 2020.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm, like, not in a rush to make any decisions. I'm not. I'm just like, it's just gonna be what I'm just saying. These are thoughts that have. You asked me for my thought of the day. Mm-hmm. I shared it. Mm-hmm. Right. So
thank you for stalling. I've got myself together.
Oh.
So you want to give your thought of the day next?
Sure, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's this song from Willow Smith. She's like a spirit animal. It's called Warm Honey, and in it she's basically saying she was looking for herself in someone else. Like, when they ask you what you want to be, all you know is what you've seen, so you kind of look for yourself in someone else. But then she realized she doesn't exist. So that's kind of, I came to that conclusion too. Like, when you're an entrepreneur doing something you don't really know is going to work out, you're kind of carving your own path because that path doesn't exist yet. So you don't know what you're doing because you have to be the one to figure it out. So you can't, like, look to someone else and see, what did they do? Like, you have to be the one to figure it out.
Exactly.
So,
and not just in entrepreneurship, right? In life, like, there's just certain decisions that we have to make, and, like, I think we always want to, see, well, what did my mom or my grandma or this person or that person do? But it's just like, no, it's you, right? So
no one has lived the life that you are living
right
now currently.
Yep.
I like that you brought that up because I think that a lot of people stop or they don't go through with the entrepreneurial journey because, they don't know all of the answers. They don't have the exact map. Like, sometimes you just have to start. Like, for example, this podcast, like, we're recording now on YouTube, like, we don't know what we're doing. I'm not a camera person. I did not go to school to set up these things. Okay. So I'm going to learn as, we're just going to learn as we go. We're going to make mistakes, like, I feel like we upgraded from season 1,
Absolutely.
But we would never be here if we didn't just start. Like, if we were waiting to know everything that has to do with podcasting and, waiting to watch someone's journey to completion. Like, then where would we be? You know what I mean? So if we just start, hey, it might be a little janky, you know, with some, I feel like this is like glamour.
I don't feel like this is janky at all.
I mean, like, it's not bad for, you know, season 2. So.
I mean, it's very podcasty, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're doing good. You know, I'm just downplaying ourselves.
Right,
another complex
Right,
that
like,
we
this
have.
is
Superwoman
pretty cool.
much.
No,
Right.
that's
She
another
got that
complex.
I'm like, this is
No,
cool.
that's another complex.
This is like
No, that
vintage.
perfectionist thing. We have that in
Yeah.
common, like that
Yeah,
perfectionist
I
thing.
understand you.
So it's like if we're waiting to know all the answers, we're never gonna go anywhere. So I like that you shared that thought. So
What's your thought of the day?
my thought of the day actually kind of relates to this, relates to the topic. So I randomly was just, I don't know, driving. I just get these random thoughts sometimes, and I happen to write this one down. And I was thinking about like the situation, you know, with like COVID-19 and this money, money being sent from the government and stuff like that. Like, you know, people are getting money. People are getting a lot of money, actually. I'm learning about that whole unemployment thing. I'm like, whoa.
I ain't getting none.
Like, right. Like, but no, not individually, but our business got a lot of money though. So I'm like, okay, I could see, you know, whatever. Yeah. But, what was I saying? So like when it comes to businesses, I'm noticing that capitalism, I've been looking at it like, I'm realizing that capitalism is more like, it's pretty much like socialism for businesses, if you really think about it, because the government is so down to always be sending money to these corporations, you know, like free money, bailing them out, right? But us as the individuals, as the American citizens, we're supposed to, you know, pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and, you know, make our money by working for it. But these corporations are just because you're a corporation, we're handing you money. You know, like, yes, you know, corporations, they provide jobs, things like that. But if we look at the amount of money they've given to businesses and corporations for COVID relief, like, I'm pretty sure people would say, I rather just have the money for myself. You know what I mean? Like, why are you bailing out corporations but not the people?
Which is why our theme is hashtag challenge the industry.
We coming for
challenge
them.
the industry. Everything just kind of like falls into place, you see, because we were like at the end of season 1, we were like, what is season 2 gonna be about? And look at life just giving us content.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why this is why it's Ashes and Roses, because it's like through the ashes, we find a way to find a rose.
So that was a great thought of the day. So Kat, usually what we do, and I know you're a listener, so usually we have either Ashley's Analogies or Junie's Jewels. But since you are our guest host, that's our space for the host segment, where we would love to give you this chance to really just kind of tell our audience, like, who are you? What do you do? Let us know, like, what businesses, what projects do you have going on, and where can people find your information?
Yes, well, okay. So I'm Kat, as we've already said. So I'm an entrepreneur. I have 2 businesses, Ori 7 Apparel and Amoni Creative, as you've mentioned. I've also started a project called the Oricle magazine, which is something that I wanted to use to highlight the stories of like the amazing people that are right here in Columbus. I feel like I'm so close. I have close connections with people that are doing such amazing things, and I just felt like I had to scream. Like, there's people that I don't know. We're out here making these moves that are
like
revolutionary.
That. Yeah. Right, like the cover of your first Oracle magazine.
Yes, yes. The model, Carrie, and creative director, she's a creative genius, and her sister was the designer who designed what she was wearing, and also recently designed for Beyonce in Black is King. So
that's amazing.
Being able to make connections like that, and you know, she's from here. She was, living here in Columbus, and I know her, and she worked with Beyonce, so I'm a 3rd degree away now.
So if you would, so we're a 4th degree
from Beyonce.
Yeah.
So. And you listeners are a 5th. We're getting closer.
And she's another example of doing it all. Yes, is she not?
Beyonce.
Yeah. So I'm saying we're a 4th degree, but I'm sure she is too. I mean, she's doing a lot to be working that closely.
Right. They say we're everyone's 6 degrees of separation away from each other.
I believe that. I believe that. And so it's just all about getting one step closer. Mm-hmm. I think they say, like, in entrepreneurship, you're only as strong as, like, your network.
Yeah.
Or you're only as valuable as your network.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are you on? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter?
Right. That's what I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, my train of thought.
We're the host. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can find us at Ori 7 Tribe. And that's on Instagram and Facebook. We are currently renovating our website, ori7.com. It's ORI, 7 spelled out.com. And there you will find our Ori 7 Apparel and the Oracle project as well. And we have some exciting things coming up in the future that I'm excited to share with everyone once we get to that point.
That's great. That's what's up. Exciting. You didn't tell us about Amoni Creative.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so that baby is like a few days old, maybe a few weeks at this point. But Amoni Creative is a design agency that I just started because as I was working, I realized my potential in design, and I was like a great graphic designer for them. And not only that, but I realized that I have an eye because I wasn't really trained in graphic design, but I was able to make some designs that made professionals ask me if I did this. He goes, "Oh, you made this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was shook that I made it by myself. So I was like, okay, so I think I have something here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So not only that, but I like making connections with other people that are talented. So I really wanted it to be an agency in the way that I could connect clients with the right designer or the right artist that they need based on what they want. So if someone wants a logo or branding with great illustrations, I'm not an illustrator, I'm a designer, and maybe I could connect people who I know have the talent would fit your exact need.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I'm, pushing to do with Amoni Creative. Wow. That's really exciting because we already have an intern that's excited to learn more about web development. And I already have some clients lined up that need a website. So it works out.
So what are you, a marketing concierge?
So yeah, we're a branding and design agency. So if you need a logo,
she loves this
card.
I love the word concierge.
Ever since she started watching the Blacklist,
the concierge of crime.
Seriously. She's like, oh, so you're a concierge.
I'm all for fancier versions of words.
Yeah. But you know what though, your story about how you say it's just a few days old, right? So you recently decided to become a full-time entrepreneur.
Yes. So this is Thursday, so day 4 of full-time entrepreneur.
Okay, wow. How is it going?
Yeah, so it's going great. I've been disciplined thus far at waking up at 5 a.m., which I love to sleep, y'all. So it's been really hard, but I'm blessed because I also have a great support system. And you all are part of that support system, and so I feel supported, and I feel like what I'm doing is important and is validated. I'm not just crazy. This is something I can do and can do well. So I'm also pushed by wanting to be able to pull y'all up as well, because once one of us, gets pulled up and highlighted, we're like, whoa. They work with them, so it's we're all going to come up together. So that's exciting. Yeah. I feel like you asked a question that I probably forgot to answer.
No, I think you did.
I just asked you how it was going. Now you're a full-time, you know.
So now you're a full-time entrepreneur. So
yeah, I mean, it kind of falls into today's topic. Yeah. So you recently, in order to become a full-time entrepreneur, of course, that you had
to become what?
Unemployed.
Yes,
there you go. There should be a sound effect for that.
I know that was the sound effect.
Unemployed. Okay.
That was the sound effect. So what does that mean to you? Like, what does unemployed, when you hear that word now, like, what's it make you feel like?
So for me, unemployed, first off, was like not having a boss, like not having someone to report to. Second off was not knowing where my next paycheck was coming from, or my next stream of income, where that was going to come from. Those are the two main things. And also, did I say not having a boss? I did say that.
So that's a big thing for you.
That's
not a fan of having a boss.
A big thing. Okay. I mean, I'll say no more, but yes. So that's my two definitions of like being unemployed.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What's that mean to you, Ashley?
Being unemployed? It means no shade. It means freedom to me. Like, you know, like ever since I started watching Rick and Morty. Morty made me realize that we are all slaves to this capitalist society. Okay, this is crazy. Absolutely. Like we're literally, they really want us to be living to work, and I'm witnessing people do that with their lives. You know what I mean? So being unemployed, you know, there is like that sense of, I don't know. I never really feel insecure. I never really feel insecure. That's what the first point was. We just said it differently. Right. Not having someone to report to, not having someone to answer to. I want to go see my family, and I'm going to go see my family. I'm going to do what I can to make that happen. Absolutely. You know, not at the whim of if they allow me to, you know. So that's what I meant, like freedom, not having to check with somebody else to make critical decisions for my life. Yeah, absolutely.
That part.
But it's, I mean, at the same time, it's really hard because, you know, like we're employers at the same time. Right. So it's like, whoa, like how do we balance, like it's necessary to have people who want to be employed, you know, but maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a way that we can find a way to, you graduate into entrepreneurship eventually, because that's really what you need. Sometimes you really do need the experience. You have to be working to, you know. So I see it's kind of going into my pros and cons of being employed or being unemployed. But, you know, to me, it just means freedom. That's just the meaning. What about you?
Yeah, so I would say season 1, I was employed. Season 2, I am not. Okay. I am unemployed. And, you know, what it means to me really, like, just bouncing off of what you had said about being free, I really do feel like that sense of freedom. And in my experience, it's like confirmation for me. My most recent bout of unemployment, you know, I was fired. I was fired because, you know, that's what God wanted, right? So, and I had to come to realize, like, I had to be fired in order to be where I am, right?
Okay, not because of lack of talent. Can you please?
Not because of lack of talent. Not because of lack of talent.
Okay, I'm going to need you to, you were fired.
Well, I was fired. Yeah, no, I'm getting into that. I'm getting to that, yeah. I'm getting to that. I wasn't a bad employee, but, so it's not because of lack of talent, but I feel like in that most recent experience, I did put my all in, like, my effort and my energy and everything that an employer asks, like your loyalty, the passion, the drive, the self-start. Like, you know, I felt like I was putting in that work, and when the time came, it was disregarded. I was just kind of like tossed aside. Does that make sense? So I felt like there was no true value in me as the person who was generating this work for this company. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like the work that I create propels your organization or your company or your business further. So the value is in me as the employee, right? So then putting in all of that effort, and then for you to just kind of wake up and be like, well, we don't see any reason to keep you. That's kind of like, okay, you know, you know, but I had to look at that and be like, you don't see any reason to keep me. And that's the problem. You know, that's the problem. The problem is you cannot see past the work and see the person. You know, that's the thing. It's just like the value is in the people. And I feel like the current, you know, unemployment to me now means like I place my own value on my work, you know, and the fruit of my labor. I mean, I was an entrepreneur prior to that job, you know, and I re-entered, like I had the ability to re-enter the workforce, and I understand that it's a blessing to be able to say these things. But unemployed to me means that I'm free. Like I can do what I want when I want. So whether I succeed or I fail is based on me, you know, and not based on whether or not some executive in a company thinks I'm worth it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then, I mean, it goes into like, thank goodness, like you had your business to fall back on. Like, so I don't really feel unemployed because I'm still working. Like, and that's the thing. That's the crazy thing, because people really be feeling like, you know, I have time, but it's just like, I'm actually still working. Like, I still have a lot to get done. My business, like in order for my business to get to where I want it to go, like I gotta be working. So I'm unemployed. You know, I'm not working for someone else. I'm working for myself, right? I'm working for myself right now, for sure. So,
so I mean, it's been interesting, and you know, I'm on this journey of like figuring out, okay, what are my next steps? Like I have my business and projects that I'm doing, but you know, like long term, what do I want to do? Because I don't see myself going back to the workforce in that way, to be an employee, and I don't think I'm not very manageable. I'm not a very manageable employee, so I definitely see that in myself. Like as an employee, I'm hard to manage, and I think that's because I don't like to be managed. So
I mean, I think that's all of us, which is why we decided to be entrepreneurs. Like seriously, before a full year of working at my job, I asked them for a whole new raise, like a whole promotion. I feel you. And I was like, yeah, I feel strongly that I
before quitting. Before, like, but you see, but I think that's probably why they knew it was coming, because it was like, she knows her worth. But let me see. I was gonna speak to what you said as far as like when they told you what they didn't see why to keep you or whatever.
Yeah, they didn't see any reason to keep me.
So for me, I took a hit for her. You know what I mean? Just as her business partner, as her best friend. Like I was just like, whoa, I was offended. You know what I mean? Like, because I witnessed her lose sleep. Okay. I witnessed her, you know, have to put other, you know, responsibilities of her business, you know, not necessarily to the side, but like having to spend less time on her business in order to, you know, take on this mission of this job or whatever. Right. To be a good employee. Yeah.
I mean, the same, because for me, when I do something, I can't help but put my everything into it. So because I have put everything into it, I don't have that much energy left for anything else. So my business, Ori 7, was doomed to be a side hustle forever, because that's the energy I put into it. So when I realized that, I was like, I'm sorry, but I have to go. Like, for my future interest, I saw that that decision was made solely for their interest, for numbers, right? And when it comes down to it, they're gonna do what they have to do to protect their neck, you know. So I was like, okay, well, logically, I have to do the same for myself,
right?
And if I know that I can generate more value than I am here, then that's what I gotta do.
Right. Right.
You know, people say, you know how people are always like, oh, it's a risk to go into business for yourself. Like, that's really risky. Like, what if it doesn't work out? Blah, blah, blah. And today, like, I don't know if I was having a conversation with you or my other sister, but she was pretty much saying, like, you know, she mentioned, like, actually having a job, it's an imaginary, like, it's imaginary stability. It's not really stable. Was that you?
Stability.
Sorry, I talked with you guys.
It's an illusion of stability.
Exactly.
And you know what that brings up? So I you know, I'm a hustler. I have another side hustle, and you know, so I work in the senior care industry, but I also like seniors. They're just, you know, cute. So I met a senior, an older guy, and he was telling me, you know, I've told him about what I do, and he was telling me how he feels like that's really great that I went and kind of ventured off and did my own thing, because he used to work in the sales industry. And he said that he would make his company like millions of dollars. Like he would open new areas of partnerships and contracts for them. And each year his reward would be that each year that he went in, they would reduce his pay. They would reduce his yearly salary, or like whatever commission that he was making, they would reduce it. And he's like, I'm making you all of this money, but they're just like, well, it just, it's just what we have to do. And, and he said that they would be like, keep your sob story or whatever. This is just how it is. But it's like, this person is taking time away from their family, away from their lives, and this is the payment that you get, No. And he was saying that like the thing that made it worth it was to be able to provide for his wife and his kids. Like that's why he kept on doing it. But in retrospect, he's like, it wasn't the best. I was like, I would have sued them for everything they had.
That's the issue. That's what the issue is because it's like we witnessed the generation before us work. They worked their entire lives and like they were all about their company. They were company men and women and blah, blah, blah. Like, completely loyal, talking about they've been working for years and years and years. But then it's like when they don't need you, when they don't see the reason to keep you,
that's it.
It's out.
That's it. So that brings me to, so everyone's entrepreneurship journey is different, right? People grow into entrepreneurship. People are born with it. People are developed with it, whatever you believe. But as far as like being an entrepreneur and the journey that you got here, like what are some experiences that you had while working, while being employed, that have shaped you as an entrepreneur?
I think every job I've ever had has shaped my path in some way. I've worked for a small business that I thought I was going to stay at. I started doing customer service. So I learned a lot about customer service there. It was a small like online t-shirt company. So I learned a lot there, actually. I learned, about wholesalers and about you don't actually have to be the person physically making the shirts to sell someone shirts. You can basically upsell things. That's what I've learned there. So that was actually a big part of my journey. But that's also where I learned that you, as an employee, you're a number, and anytime your number is up. Because after the holiday season, I saw 3 full-time employees get laid off.
Yeah.
And I was a part-time employee who thought this was going to be my next move.
What, full-time?
I was shook. I was like, okay, so I've seen coworkers who just moved out of their parents' home for the first time, got a whole apartment, and, a few months later, cut over. How's she going to keep paying her rent? She just freshly is a new owner of an apartment, So I've seen those things happen. So I think every single job I've had has shaped that decision. But also, I've had the opportunity to have a very strong mother who was an entrepreneur, and I've seen her just not take no for an answer. I've seen her shape the life she wanted to live into existence. So that's why I knew it was possible for me to do it too, because I've seen her do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That made me think. That's pretty awesome. You do have an entrepreneur mom. That's true. Yeah,
so I couldn't just sit there and take that and just wait for my number to be called. No.
Yeah. My mom said that to me the other day. She was like, you're going to create the life you want, or you're just going to take what life gives you. And I was just like, well, damn. She's like, look at me. I've recreated my life many times.
That's real.
Yeah.
It's always possible. And then there's always it's not always like shady companies being shady, but it's like, situations like this, COVID-19, they have no choice. And that's one thing that we've been grateful for, that we don't have to lay off people that has been working for us for almost 3 years. So it's it sometimes just bad things happen, or the company is just literally on its, on a low.
Yeah, sometimes bad things happen, but there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a way to, because it's not when you let someone go that they feel undervalued. It's throughout. Yeah. People come to work because they got to pay their bills at the end of the day. A lot of people who have jobs and who are, affording to live comfortably. They say all the time, like, I wish I didn't have to. I hate, you know what I mean? No one really likes it, but some people have to. But it doesn't mean that it's because they feel valued and it's because they feel appreciated. So that's why I feel like we need to challenge the way employees are treated, because if it is because look at these corporations, you know, like corporations are on they're coming down. They're going to come down eventually. Maybe not in the next 5 years, but eventually, because people are seeing like they don't really care about the person, the individual. They care about the product. They care about the money that it makes. And that's why in our society right now, like AI is such a big thing, because a corporation can cut down the cost of having to pay you. I know
they're coming to get rid of, like, they're getting rid of workers, period. Yeah. And it's not like they're getting rid of people like working. They're getting rid of like workers in certain industries. They're cutting now their costs, but they're going to find some other thing for us to do, because the government is going to want us to keep working. They're going to want their people to keep working and keep productive, because according to Morty, we're all being controlled. Like, you know,
Absolutely. I mean, idle minds, lead to trouble. So of course they're going to find something to pacify us. But the thing is that I feel like our generation has done a good job to waking up to this reality, but at the same time, not enough of us, and not soon enough, because we do have to realize, like, little by little, they're taking us out. They're replacing us. Like, now you go to not Walmart. What do you call those fast food places? They have less and less cashiers now.
No, even Walmart, the
self
checkout.
Yeah, like these.
And then these cameras. I mean, these cameras. They're gonna start being able to read faces without,
right. They're gonna read faces,
even with the masks and things like that. So,
yeah.
So they are like getting rid of employees. Little by little, and the thing is it's crazy, because when you try to tell people like this is happening, because I was a Andrew Yang, I still am actually Yang 2020
Yang Gang.
Yes, I'm still Yang Gang forever. But when he's like kind of like pushing like, hey guys, like AI is about to come and take more jobs, because they've already been taking jobs like under your noses. Like me as a nurse, like just watching this robot
in the hospital
bring in like medications, like that's slowly but surely
that's the
someone getting replaced. I used to be a human dropping this off. Okay.
A pharmacy tech.
Yeah.
Like you're getting rid of that pharmacy tech's job.
Yeah. So anyway, so like do you have your cons, your ashes?
Yes. Do you have? Yes, I do have my ashes. So I think I've kind of mingled them into the conversation as well. Same here. But one of my ashes, again, I want to say
of being unemployed. Are we rating being unemployed?
No, we're rating being unemployed or the work industry. Well,
which one are we rating? What do you want to rate?
What do you want to rate?
Why not both?
Let's rate both.
Okay, sure.
Why not?
Let's rate both. So for unemployed, so I gave my roses, right? The freedom, the ability to do, what I want, when I want, and not having to answer to anyone. I would say the ashes is like, there's not that every 2 weeks or every week I know I'm getting this amount in my account. That's not there because I didn't go and clock in, right? So I would say just that, that false sense of stability, I guess, right? Because in the moment when you're getting steady income, you do feel like, okay, things are okay. So I would say that. Another ash I would say is that, people think, another ash I would say is that when you tell people like, oh, I'm not working, like they feel like they think that your next thing is to look for another job. And I'm like, no, I'm just chilling right now. Like I was just trying to figure it all out. So that push for like, just from family, sometimes just they don't want to see you. They want to see you get into the next thing. So I would say just that, like other people's insecurity when they feel like you're not secure. Does that make sense? Because we do tend to buy into that false sense of stability, like we talked about, right? So, like a mother if their child is unemployed, they're like, when are you gonna get a job? But yeah, those would be my ashes.
Okay. So Mine. You have yours?
I can go if you.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
So yeah, my ashes to being unemployed is not knowing where the next source of income is going to come from. So for example, my best friend's birthday is next weekend, and my instinct was to like go ahead and fill a backpack, like shove it with a whole bunch of gifts and stuff and give it to her. But I was like, oh, wait, now I have to rethink that whole thing and really stick to the budget and really be strict with myself. So that's an ash, but it's also a rose because it's kind of forcing me to reevaluate my spending habits.
Yeah.
So like I can't just go and get a new outfit when I want to. I can't just, just make those rash decisions that I usually would when I have steady income.
Right.
So I think that's both an ash and a rose for me. So yeah, mostly not being able to possibly like help someone else, like in my family or something, if I had to. Like I live with my fiance, and if he were to be in a tight spot, I wouldn't be able to help him out. So that is also an ash for me, like at least right now, because I'm just starting out. I think later that won't be an issue. But I think, the roses are definitely the freedom. I can set my schedule. I can travel when I need to travel. I'm responsible for myself and the decisions that I make. And if I fail, I know it's because of decisions that I made. Like what was so stressful about being an employee was like, I put my all into this, and I'm just like, no, you can be doing this so much better. I tried to fix everything. I wanted to make everything better. And I see like, I've just putting stress into someone else's company for no reason. I need to be stressing for myself, and so so those are my ashes and roses.
Nice. Okay. So mine are very similar. Like as far as our ashes go, it's that, the income, it's not that I don't have income coming in, because I definitely do have like side hustles, and thankfully blessed that, my business is, I can work for myself and, go to work, take hours in my own business to pay me. It's definitely a huge pay cut, something I'm not used to, but it's just like, I think that it's making me, and I'm looking at it as like a rose now that you say it, but it's making me reevaluate my things as well. Just even like, I just feel like I have too many things now. So so it's kind of like humbling me in a sense. And unemployed. Another rose is the timing of, I forgot, I didn't even tell them. So I'm not even working in the hospital anymore.
We all unemployed. If y'all didn't catch that, undercurrent in this episode,
we're all unemployed. Yeah,
we're all unemployed.
So
the timing, Americans now, so,
the timing of my unemployment though is, I feel like good, because everybody's like so patient. Like when you're talking to companies or whatever, they're just like, oh, what's going on? Like COVID-19. No, but seriously, it's like, hey, I got us all. Okay. But, so it's, I'm blessed. I recognize that I'm blessed. I definitely have more roses in this situation. Just even, again, with the timing, like even if I did want to make some extra money, it's so easy now without having to go be an employee. Like I can just, drop off food to people, like, I can drive people around if I want to. Like, it's like I can decide, like, you can make $1 any kind of way nowadays. Like, so
look, this podcast.
Right. This podcast can turn into some money, so it's like, I'm blessed. It's more roses than ashes in this circumstance.
Me too. It's definitely more roses than ashes. And, I definitely understand that our story is not like everyone else's. There are people who are definitely having a different experience with being unemployed. But as far as for where I am, and I'm definitely blessed. And not only blessed, but it's like, it's work that we put in years ago that today is now supporting us.
Now we have the security. This is security.
This
for
is
me.
Security. So,
and that's the beauty.
My
in
business.
It. When you get there, So I'm not there yet, as you know, this is my 4th day of full-time entrepreneurship.
You're doing a great job. Listen, it's her 4th day, but since she's been here, she got like 3 calls and a new customer, like a potential new customer.
Right.
And you're in day 4.
Not to mention this marketing that we're doing right here. So
there you go. You working.
So I'm putting in that work.
You putting in that work for sure.
So I'll be joining y'all soon on the more stable
on the more stable end. Yes. But you believe in yourself enough to say, hey, I'm going to leave this job to pursue my own. Like you believe in yourself more than you do.
And it took a lot to do that. But I think it's because, like you said, we are blessed to be living in a time where anyone can give their services anytime. Like,
exactly.
You know, the internet is a wonderful thing that has allowed us to, I could work for somebody on the other side of the planet. You know, I can design for someone in another country, and I can't wait to get to that point, you know. And there's so many other things you can do too. So I just realized I don't have to limit myself to this one thing. You know, organization. I can provide my services to anybody and you know, get more money for it too. So
get more recognition for it too.
And I believe that. I actually did believe that. So yeah, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So it was a bold move, like definitely, but yeah, I have a good support system. So
I believe in you. I know you're going to make it.
Too,
okay, I'm going to ride Kat's wave. All right.
I believe in you too. Yeah. And listen, because when you make it, I'm going to have to make it too. Like, whoever make it first, you know?
That's what I'm saying. We're all going to pull each other up.
Yeah. So, okay, let's do our final rating, and then we'll go into our quotes. I don't know if you brought one with you to share, but what are you rating overall being unemployed? What would you rate it? 5 stars being the best and 1 star being the worst.
Being unemployed, if for me, in my circumstance, I would rate it a solid 4.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. I understand if you don't have other options, it's real
one-ish.
It's real rough. Yeah, it's feeling like a real one.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have unemployment too, so
that's true.
Right. It's real 5-ish.
Making more money than I was earning as an employee, so I was feeling some type of way.
That was confusing to me. That was very confusing. I was like, why am I going to work? Why?
Yeah, so I would rate it a solid 4 actually, because I'm looking out for me. My family is looking out for me. My support system is looking out for me. So I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna be okay.
Yes.
And like no company can really provide you with that guarantee. And also, all the companies I used to trust, they are no longer keeping my trust anymore, because that guarantee is just a lie to provide you with the illusion of security. Right. It's
meanwhile you're funding and supporting a human trafficking ring.
The only security comes from God.
No, but seriously, that's literally happening though. That's literally happening today. It's like,
that is crazy.
This corporation that you trusted this whole time, like Wayfair, trafficking humans.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That's
allegedly.
Wild.
Whatever, allegedly.
But anyway, no, really, allegedly. All they have to do is slap the word guarantee on it. That doesn't have to make it true, but that makes you believe it.
Yeah.
So, you know, look out for yourself, your own self. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And you can still work with them. They can be a client of yours. Yeah. You know, you can position yourself to work with them, but not work under them.
Yeah.
Because then they control you.
And that's how she quit. She was like, I'm out. But if you need my services,
here's my card.
Like, they're going to need your services.
We can, hit me up. We'll write up a contract for each thing that you need.
Right, we can talk.
We can negotiate.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So along with that rating, what kind of, before we kind of close out here and give our ratings, what kind of entrepreneur would you consider yourself? What type?
I would consider myself somewhat of a jack of all trades.
Okay.
That's what we thought you were.
That's what we thought too.
Simply because I have so many different passions and things that I love, and somehow I'm finding a way to, connect the dots between them. So that's, music, technology, education, everything that's creative. Graphic design came out of nowhere. I didn't know I was a designer. I never knew this. So it's just, I think I'm a jack of all trades because I'm finding a way to make all my interests make sense together.
Yes, see, I'm also a jack of all trades.
So real quick, I'm just going to give a review. of what jack of all trades are. So jack of all trades, it's they're diverse, they can follow trends, they enjoy taking risks.
Yes.
Sounds like you, girl. But you take like calculated risks though at the same time.
You think they're calculated?
I think so. I think they're responsible risks, like reasonable.
Yeah, I take risks flat out, 100%.
Because I'm also paranoid at the same time, so I can't just stress myself out. I know I'll be stressed if I don't have somewhat of a plan. So I guess somewhat calculated, yeah.
That's cool. So what are you rating being unemployed?
I would rate it a solid 4 too. A solid 4. And the only thing that will make it better is when my business start making a little bit more money.
Exactly.
But,
then it's going to be a 5.
Then it's going to be 100%. Definitely a 5.
5-star.
I'm at a 4 too. So we're 4, 4, 4.
4, 4, 4.
Right. That's
synchronicity.
unanimous.
All right. Thank you, Kat, for joining us for #unemployed.
Yes, thank you again. This was great. I feel
Happy
honored.
to have you.
Do you want to share a quote?
Yes, I'll share a quote. I had a hard time making it relate, but I think I've found a way. That's the thing I'm good at, is making it somehow relate. So it was actually from a song from Mariba. She says, "Don't plant a seed in your mind if you don't wish to grow it." And I think that relates to anything, really. Same thing with unemployment. We rated it a 4. Many people might rate it something different. Like, you shape your own reality. So if you are painting things in a negative light, it's going to be negative. So I think, try to be positive in all ways, and try to only plant positive seeds in your mind.
Yep.
Oh, that was nice. I like
nice.
that. That. I'll give my quote next. So, my quote is, you know what? Now that I think about it, I feel like I'm always referencing cartoons. But it's from Uncle Iroh on Avatar. He spits that knowledge.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
My quote is, "Failure is only the opportunity to begin again, only this time more wisely." So he was probably definitely talking to his annoying nephew, but
of course.
But I chose this quote for this episode because I feel like the industries and the corporations are a complete failure. I mean, but at the same time, I think that maybe they've lost their way. Like, when you hear their mission statements and, like, it sounds like they wanted to do good, but then it just turns into
something else.
It just turned into something else. I don't know if it's because they got so big, like, maybe, but anyway, so I feel like industries are failing, and we're starting to see that. But I think us as like the new incoming entrepreneurs and the new, company builders and CEOs and things like that, I think it's giving us an opportunity, seeing that these industries are failing, it's giving us the opportunity to, try again and just be a little bit more wiser.
Do better.
Yeah.
Those good quotes, you guys,
Okay.
But I always got to leave you with a quote to end your day on a high note. Okay. And my quote today comes from Nick Cannon. All right. You cannot fire a boss. All right. You can't fire a boss. So I'm going to have to leave it with that. You know what I mean? If you don't want to get fired, you're going to have to be a boss in your life in some way, in your life, in your home. Just keep in mind, as long as you're a boss about your business, you cannot be fired. All right. Have a good day, you guys. We'll see you next Wednesday, same time.
Next Wednesday, every week, Spotify, Google Podcast,
and Apple Podcast. Yes. Thanks, Kat.
Thank you. That was okay. That wasn't so bad.
Yay.